Good evening, everyone. I'm Shivani Gupta. Thanks a lot for staying with us. The mother of all state elections, the Uttar Pradesh elections, are just months away, and campaign wars have already begun. Yogi Adityanath has announced that laptops and smartphones will be distributed to students by the end of November this year. It's a promise the Chief Minister made in his 2017 manifesto and is now coming good on. The scheme will cost the exchequer 3,000 crore rupees. But the decision hasn't gone down well with the opposition, naturally. SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav questioned the timing of the dispersal, attacking the government for failing to fulfill this promise all along and remembering it only before the next elections. The SP and Congress, though, have also promised smartphones, laptops and even scooties as part of their manifesto. Before we bring you more of these campaign wars and whether these SOPs will be enough to woo the electorate, first up, listen in to what all sides are saying.
देखिए, विपक्ष को ये आरोप लगाने से पहले अपने गिरेबान के भीतर जाकर के खुद देखना चाहिए। समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार ने सभी विद्यार्थियों को मुफ्त लैपटॉप देने की बात कही थी, लेकिन खरीदे गए लैपटॉप में से लगभग 8 लाख से अधिक लैपटॉप उन्होंने बांटे नहीं। वो लैपटॉप कहां गए, उस लैपटॉप में घोटाला किसने किया, क्या समाजवादी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने उसका उपयोग किया? हम भाई भतीजावाद सिफारिश के आधार पर जाति देख करके न लैपटॉप देते हैं, न टैबलेट देते हैं। हम वास्तविकता में जो जरूरतमंद विद्यार्थी हैं, जिससे उनकी शिक्षा व्यवस्था में उनको लाभ मिल सके, हमने इस प्रकार से बांटने का निर्णय किया है और हम इसको पारदर्शिता से पूरा करेंगे।
वाह योगी जी, आपने समाजवादी पार्टी के काम की नकल करने में भी 5 साल लगा दिए। अगर लैपटॉप आपको देना ही था बच्चों को तो 5 साल पहले देना था। अब तो चली चलाई की बेला है। अब लैपटॉप से क्या होगा? अब तो चिड़िया चुन गई खेत। अब 2022 में बाईसाइकिल की सरकार होगी और समाजवादी सरकार में दोबारा से बच्चों को लैपटॉप स्मार्टफोन दिए जाएंगे।
श्रीमती प्रियंका गांधी जी के घोषणा करते ही कि आगामी चुनाव के बाद कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने के साथ इंटर पास बच्चियों को स्मार्टफोन देंगे और बीए पास बच्चियों को, ग्रेजुएट पास बच्चियों को स्कूटी देंगे। योगी सरकार को अपना किया हुआ पुराना वादा याद आ गया कि इन्हें लैपटॉप भी देने थे। अरे भाई, पिछले 4.5 साल से लैपटॉप कहां चले गए? कहां चले गए टैबलेट? उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार श्रीमती प्रियंका गांधी जी की घोषणाओं से डर गई है। अगर इन्हें सच में लैपटॉप देने होते तो 4 साल में दिए होते।
Well, meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah was in Uttar Pradesh today and gave a stamp of his approval for Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's development schemes in the state. Shah slammed the SP-BSP too for, quote, ruining Uttar Pradesh.
उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर कई साल तक ये सपा बसपा का खेल चलता रहा और उसने उत्तर प्रदेश को बर्बाद करके रखा। उत्तर प्रदेश और की कानून और व्यवस्था की स्थिति कैसी थी, मेरा तो खून खौल जाता था। आज मैं कहने आया हूं, उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है पलायन करने की। पलायन कराने वालों का पलायन हो चुका है।
Ahead of UP elections, there's a ghamasan over gadgets. Exactly who will come out on top? That's the big debate today. And will this be enough, really? Anila Singh of the BJP is joining us. Gaurav Kapoor, Congress spokesperson. Amitabh Tiwari, he's a political commentator, knows UP politics well. And also Ram Pratap Singh of the Samajwadi Party. Ram Pratap Singh, let me come to you first up. What's your big problem if the UP government is finally delivering the tablets and laptops to students who need them? It's still their term.
Thank you. I don't think we have a problem with them trying to distribute laptops to the economically weaker section kids. But the timing of the whole thing is circumspect and it is under question. I mean, we at Samajwadi Party ideologically stand committed towards social welfare and empowerment schemes. And that's why when our government came in 2012, within the very first year, we brought in the laptop distribution scheme. We got in the Samajwadi pension for old women. We brought in the Kanya Vidya Dhan for young girls. So this kind of welfare schemes have to be implemented over a period of time. My question to the BJP is that what were they doing for these 4.5 years if they wanted to implement such social development
Let Anila Singh respond that directly. It's a fair question to ask. Why have you remembered this delivery and a very important one for people in Uttar Pradesh after 4.5 years of your term?
Let opposition get restless on this. We are not restless. We have got trust in the people of Uttar Pradesh, and especially if we talk about youngsters, They are getting laptops and tablets. So if they are happy, we are happy. So if opposition wants to accuse us that why this delay and why it was not done earlier, all those things, it hardly matters to us, because even the school going students or the college going students, they understand very well that since last 2 years we have been struggling with corona. So if in today's date government has come in front and the government has started distributing these gadgets, I think we should welcome that. But yes, definitely opposition is in shock. And if they want, we can give them shock treatment as well, if they want. But if they do not want, they can remain in shock.
Ram Pratap is raising his hand. He wants to respond to you already.
I just want to add one thing here, that this government will be, BJP government will be remembered for its fiscal mismanagement. They have not been able to manage the funds of the state, even though UP is a very rich state in terms of GST revenue. But the money has been diverted for various optical illusions which they are trying to create, not the real schemes on the ground.
No, but you have to establish that a little bit more with where the money has been wasted.
So I would want to know how many additional kilometers of roads have been built. Let them publish this data. Let them publish how many more megawatt electrical power generation has happened since 2017. Let them come out with that data, publish it on the website, put it in the newspaper. Why are they not talking about that?
Anila Singh.
I think he is not updated. That is why he is accusing Bharatiya Janata Party government in Uttar Pradesh. Bharatiya Janata Party government has already published that amount of infrastructure work we have done, and whatever the work is going on, and what work will be completed in the future as well. Everything is
You've
there.
not been able to complete one expressway in 5 years.
Sir, I did not interrupt you. I think you should have that much of decency when I am saying, and you should have some patience. So if he doesn't know that, I can send him. I can mail him. He can give me his email ID and I'll send it across. And a second, he's talking about the fiscal thing. I think perhaps he's most probably talking about the BSP government, where corruption was the second name of BSP. But Bharatiya Janata Party is one government. When we came into power, we have doubled the economy. अर्थव्यवस्था जो है दुगनी हो चुकी है जब समाजवादी पार्टी हमें छोड़कर गए थे तब से लेकर अब तक and in ease of doing business we are on second place. So this shows that economy has recovered very well after Samajwadi Party went off. But yes, since 2 years we have been struggling with the corona, but again the economy is coming back on track. And people of Uttar Pradesh, they understand this thing very well. And if we talk about electricity, power, each and every village in Uttar Pradesh, I can say very, very proudly this thing. Each and every village, गांव कहिए, मजरा कहिए, हर जगह बिजली पहुंच चुकी है. शहरों में 24 घंटे है, तहसील पे आपको 18 घंटे और गांवों में आपको 12 से 16 घंटे तक की बिजली मिल रही है. That is all.
I live in a village, Anila Singh. Please come down and
we are going ahead in the elections with all the work which we have done for the people of Uttar Pradesh, and that is why I am very, very confident, and this confidence comes from the trust of UP.
There was, of course, a promise made that there will be 24-hour power supply to villages, and of course 4-lane connectivity to districts, setting up farmers fund, free food grain for the poor. Smartphones at schools and colleges was also one of those promises which is now being fulfilled. These are similar promises that all parties have made. Let me go across to the Congress also. Anila Singh is saying the opposition is in shock because it seems that they are now beginning to do what the Congress was thinking they will be able to do, and they're restless because of that.
Well, you see, after Priyanka Gandhi ji promised smartphones to girls and scooties to young girls, after that, the BJP remembered that they had made this promise, which they should try and fulfill as best as possible. Of course, they will not succeed like in pretty much anything else that they've tried to do in the last 4.5 years. Now, coming back to, this shock, the word that has been used, I'm actually shocked at what Amit Shah said today, when he said with that Durbin that he can't find Bahubalis anywhere. Well, maybe he can't find them because most of them are in the BJP right now, including one who was standing right next to him, this Taini Mishra, who should have resigned by now. If the Prime Minister had an iota of shame left, he would have asked for his resignation. If the RSS, BJP, or Amit Shah himself had an iota of shame, they would have asked, because the way the Kisans were murdered, absolutely brutally, everyone saw that. and justice has to be done for that. And the first starting point of that is some sort of morality in politics, where you should have asked for his resignation, because he is going to, and he's a human being. It's his son that is involved in it, and he will try and influence, especially because he's MOS home. So that's where it should start from, and our shock starts from that.
But staying with
Now,
the
let me
subject
build
today of these wars that are going on as far as SOPs are concerned, what is the problem if the government that is still very much in tenure is fulfilling its promise? Why must you needlessly criticize even what the government is doing?
We're pointing out, we're not criticizing. Now, secondly, whatever we have promised, it's based on what we have done before. Kisan ka karza maaf is something that the UPA-led Congress government did already, and therefore we're promising that. अगर हम कह रहे हैं कि हम वचन निभाएंगे, क्योंकि हमने वो वचन निभाए हैं. We're talking of 2,500 rupees for gehu and dhan. It's because in Chhattisgarh, which is a bordering state as well to parts of UP, we are doing something similar, maybe a couple of 100 rupees less, but nevertheless we are. So therefore, we're not worried by these SOPs, because let me tell you very clearly, Shivanji, this government is possibly one of the worst governments that Uttar Pradesh has seen. And for sure, the people of this great state are going to ensure that the BJP has been changing the chief ministers, 3, 4, 5 of them in the last few months. We're about to change their chief minister forever in 6 months.
Okay, that's a political statement. You're entitled to it. But let me just take our viewers through some of the promises that the BJP had made. One of them was to waive off farm loans, and crop loans up to 1 lakh rupees of small and marginal farmers were waived off. There was the question about free laptops for all college students, 1 GB free internet per month. That is something that is now being done and has been started. The first tranche will be completed by November end. The Ram Temple issue was one of their big poll promises. Of course, that is getting done after the Supreme Court judgment. Special preference to Bundelkhand was one, and Bundelkhand Development Board formed. The work on defence corridor, etc. has been started. There was also the promise of for women, Muslim women on triple talaq. We know that that promise has been fulfilled by the BJP, and 5,000 rupees for every girl child born in poor families, 50,000 bond on the birth of the girl child, and 5,100 rupees to the mother. So when the opposition makes this claim, Ram Prakash ji, that the government hasn't done anything, the data doesn't show that.
Which was very much touted at that time was that within 6 months of forming the government, all the roads in Uttar Pradesh will be gadda mukht. Well, I urge you to travel through some parts of UP, randomly choose it, and find for yourself whether this, after 4.5 years the roads have become well plastered. That's just one example. I mean, Anila Singh was talking about electricity.
But this example tells a lot that if this is the best criticism you can bring in against the BJP government, then that says a lot. Roads are not gadda free in any state in India. But let Anila Singh respond to that.
And electricity. I mean, let me just add to that. She said we're getting 12 hours of electricity in the village. I urge her to come to my village where I stay and just experience for herself how many hours we are getting electricity here.
Okay, but Anila Singh, as you respond to Ram Prakash ji, I have an additional question. Will SOPs alone help you? There's a lot of other issues in Uttar Pradesh. And why is it happening just before elections now?
Shivani, what did you ask me initially?
I'm saying that apart from the criticism that Samajwadi Party spokesperson is levelling, my question also is that will SOPs of gadgets help you alone? There are larger issues in Uttar Pradesh of law and order, for example. And why is this happening just before elections?
See, it is not a matter of doing just before elections. As I mentioned earlier, if we talk about the distribution of gadgets amongst the youngsters, these young students going to secondary school or the students going to the college, as I mentioned earlier, they know it very well that since 2 years, government has been struggling with the corona infection. Now, if they are getting the gadgets, they are mighty happy, more than happy, I'll say. And if I talk about the network of the roads, I think whole of the country appreciates, I will say rather, the infrastructure thing is being appreciated on the world platform as well. So the network of roads, which had been, the dream was of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, and which was carried forwarded by Modi ji, and in Uttar Pradesh, definitely Yogi Adityanath ji took it ahead. So people of Uttar Pradesh knows
Okay,
I mean,
and ultimately, of
randomly
course, the
go and
people
ask
will be the
anybody and they're
judge.
going to
But
say-
let me go across to Amitabh Tiwari, also political commentator, joining us. What do you make of the fact that most of these parties now are offering, some sort of sops in terms of gadgets or material sops in the run-up to the elections?
See, most of these parties are offering sops because they believe that some of these sops could help them win votes. But what happens is that since every party is promising something or the other, most of these doles or promises get cancelled out in a sense. See, if doles and promises could win elections, Congress had promised rupees 72,000 rupees per household to 20% poorest of the poor households. In 2019 Lok Sabha elections, it could not even cross 72 seats. See, for the doles, people view the incumbent and the opposition parties with a different lens. For the incumbent, what is more important is the performance track record. Has it delivered on the promises made in the earlier manifesto? Then only people will believe
The next set of promises.
on the promises which they are going to make on the future manifesto.
Right.
Correct. And for opposition also, the credibility of the leadership and what they did in their previous governments is very important. For example, if Samajwadi Party is saying that we will conduct an OBC census, then it's a very natural question for people to ask, why didn't Samajwadi Party conduct an OBC census when it was in power in 2012-17? What also happens is that since the incumbent government has the resources to implement some of these schemes and give out doles, it is in an advantageous position versus the opposition parties. So the UP government is going to give laptops and people see that as having been implemented. Whereas a promise is a promise. It may or may not be kept. But as you said, doles or promises are not the only criteria for voting by people, and the issues on the ground, which is law and order, farmer distress, agri distress, COVID handling, all these issues will ultimately decide who is going to win the elections in UP.
Let me go across to our political guests once again in 10 seconds each to all of you. Gauravji, why don't you start? What is UP election for you? What is the main plank that Congress will fight this on?
Well, firstly, we're going to fight on 150 rupees of petrol, 100 rupees of diesel, 200 rupees of kadwa tel, 60 rupees onion, 80 rupees tomato, and 1,000 rupees of gas. That's what we're going to fight this election on to begin with.
But that's
Price
not a
rise
local
which has
issue,
hurt
isn't it? Don't you think
everyone.
that's not really a UP issue?
Why is it not an UP issue? Don't 24 crore people live in the state? I mean, are you telling me that the people in the state don't use gas, don't use petrol, don't use diesel?
No, I'm saying it's an
don't
issue
use kadwa
associated
tel
more
to
with the
cook?
national government than the state government.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's a double, they talk of this double engine sarkar. Well, it's going to start with the first failure here and then the second failure in 2024. So it starts with everyone.
Okay, Ram Prakash.
For me, I look at 2022 elections as a turning point where when the Samajwadis form the government, we will work towards empowerment of women, empowerment of farmers, development of infrastructure, development of social infrastructure of health and education, and possibly try and make UP one of the best states in the country. That's what we stand for.
You will, of course, be judged on your tenure because your tenure is very much fresh in the minds of the electorate today. Anila Singh, I have 10 seconds left.
Absolutely.
For you, what is this election?
I just want to say one thing here, Shivani. सोच ईमानदार काम दमदार छा गई योगी सरकार ये लोगों के दिमाग में बिल्कुल आ चुका है आज ही आप 7505403403 पे मिस्ड कॉल देकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मेंबर बनिए दिस इज द ओनली
I didn't ask you to do your membership drive here Anila Singh I have to end it there. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our guests for joining us. We'll have to wait and see exactly what next will come out from the hats of the political parties as this campaign heats up. But let's turn our attention to another big story that we're tracking. In a massive move against terrorism and one that will go a long way in ensuring minorities can make a safe return, bulk land has been allotted to the CRPF in 8 places in Kashmir so that the institution can build permanent camps for personnel and their families. Specifically, 3 sites in Anantnag, 3 in Pulwama and 2 in Shopian have been allotted. The land was approved for distribution to the CRPF earlier today by an Administrative Council order, which was also chaired by the Lieutenant Governor. This move is being seen as a significant one for Naya Jammu and Kashmir, as the previous government had blocked the process of land allocation. This is the first time that land is being allocated to the CRPF post the abrogation of Article 370.
The sign of normalcy is not allocation of more land to security forces. The sign of normalcy is thinning of forces, is demilitarization. This allocation of more land in an already highly militarized zone to security forces is a tacit acknowledgement from the government that things are not well post August 5. We have seen recent incidents of breakdown of law and order, and then you see government recoiling in its, doubling down its aggressive posture towards people of Jammu and Kashmir. And we also have to look at that, on one hand, that people of Jammu and Kashmir are being evicted from their lands, and the more land is being, given to security forces, which plays into the larger fears of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir that August 5 was all about land grab.
Well, you heard from the PDP spokesperson there. Already this decision is being criticized, although not directly, but it is being used as an attack against the current administration led by the BJP, that this is not a sign of normalcy. Normalcy would be demilitarization. But this move certainly is something that experts have pointed out in the past, especially after the recent spate of killings of minorities and non-locals in Kashmir, that there must be a greater presence of not just retired armed forces, but as in this case, bigger camps for the CRPF. Mufti Islah is also joining us live. Mufti, some criticism is coming in from the PDP, but that's natural. But I want to understand from you, what is the administration saying, if anything, on what impact this will have?
Well, to begin with, the administration is saying that CRPF people who have been here since last 30 years or so, they didn't have adequate kind of accommodation here. And most of them were in pillboxes, and others had temporary shelters, like they were putting up in hotels on the boulevard also, and some other places. So clearly the CRPF wanted permanent kind of an accommodation where they could bring in some families, although the family chapter is at a later stage. Clearly they will want some permanent facilities, because no permanent facility which is very big and huge has been built since last 30 years. And the government at this particular time is saying that, well, the previous successive governments, so be it the PDP, National Conference or Congress, or even BJP in coalition with PDP, they were not, preparing these papers smoothly, and they always used to stall these moves. But now the LG administration has said, well, we're going ahead and giving some 65 acres of land, at least at 10 places where the CRPF can settle, and perhaps at a later stage bring in their families also, because Kashmir, after all, is a border state. You need permanent presence of CRPF, paramilitary, and other forces, because there are times of exigency when law and order breaks, and they will not always kind of bring CRPF from outside state, because that takes time.
Right.
So clearly they will have some kind of facilities here, and that's why government has spared some land for CRPF, which was otherwise extremely difficult when you talked about the previous popular successive governments of National Conference as well as PDP.
In fact, it is a shocker that so far this wasn't done. But this is also another historical delay or wrong, if you may like it, that is being corrected in Jammu and Kashmir. With that, it's a wrap on this edition. Thanks a lot for watching.